I want you to think about someone in your life, someone smart, someone with real potential, someone who has talked about their dreams, their goals, their ideas, maybe for years, and hasn't moved an inch. You know exactly who I'm talking about. And if you're being completely honest with yourself, there might be moments where that person is you. Most people never change, not because they can't, not because life was too hard or the odds were too long, but because of something much quieter and much more dangerous than that. Today, I'm going to tell you exactly what that is. And more importantly, I'm going to tell you how to be different. My name is Brian. This is The Grounded Life. Let's get into it. I've watched some of the smartest people I know stay exactly where they were for years. People older than me, people with more experience than me, people with better ideas than me. They had plans, they had vision. They could tell you exactly what they wanted to build and exactly why it would work. Conversations were brilliant. In execution, they were invisible. Year after year, same conversations, same ideas, same place. And I sat with that for a long time, trying to figure out what the difference was between the people who talk about changing and the people who actually do it. There wasn't one dramatic moment that made me decide I was going to be different. It was more like a slow accumulation, watching people I respected, people smarter than me, people with better ideas than me, stay exactly where they were year after year. And one day, I looked at that and made a decision. I refused to be that story. I didn't have all the answers. I didn't feel ready. But I was more afraid of staying the same than I was of failing. And that fear, the fear of stagnation over fear of failure, is what made the difference. So what is it? What exactly keeps people stuck? I've thought about this a lot, and I've lived it, and I've watched it in others. And my honest answer, not the diplomatic answer, the real one, is this: doubt. Self-doubt is the single greatest killer of human potential. Not circumstances, not lack of opportunity, not bad luck, doubt. But here's the specific way doubt destroys change that I don't think gets talked about enough. It doesn't always show up as fear. Sometimes it shows up as logic, as reason, as wisdom even. It sounds like, I need to learn more first. I need to wait until the timing is right. I need to have more money saved, more experience, more credentials, more certainty before I start. The voice sounds responsible. It sounds like it's protecting you. But what it's actually doing is keeping you comfortable. Comfort is where change goes to die. Napoleon Hill called it indefiniteness of purpose. He said most people fail not because they try and lose, but because they never make a definitive decision about what they want. They stay in a permanent state of almost ready, almost decided, almost committed, almost never built anything. Here's the truth that I had to learn the hard way. You will never feel fully ready. The timing will never be perfect. There will always be something else you can learn, something else you could save, something else you could wait for. The people who change are the ones who, not the ones who waited until they were ready. They're the ones who started before they were ready and figured it out along the way. Let me say something that I want you to really sit with. The most dangerous place you can live is inside your comfort zone. Not because it's painful, but because it feels fine. And fine will steal your whole life if you let it. Pain is a signal. Struggle is a signal. Discomfort is a signal. These things tell you something needs to change, and they motivate action. But comfort is silent. Comfort doesn't alarm you. It just quietly keeps you exactly where you are, while your potential sits unused and your years keep passing. I've seen people with incredible gifts live their entire lives in the comfortable lane, not because anything bad happened to them, but because nothing uncomfortable enough happened to push them out. And here's what I've learned. If life isn't pushing you out of your comfort zone, you have to push yourself. That's what discipline is. That's what intentional growth is. It's choosing discomfort on purpose because you understand that everything you want is on the other side of it. You will never change if you can't be uncomfortable. That's not motivational speak. That's just true. Change by definition means moving from where you are to somewhere different. And somewhere different is always uncomfortable at first. The question is not whether the discomfort is real. It is. The question is whether what's waiting on the other side is worth it. It always is. There's one more factor I want to address because I think It's real even if it's not the root cause. The people around you matter. Not because other people are responsible for your choices, they're not, but because environment shapes your behavior, whether we acknowledge it or not. Everyone around you is comfortable being stuck. The conversations you're in every day are about excuses and limitations and why things can't work. And that becomes the water you swim in. Jim Rohn said, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." I believe that. Not as a reason to abandon people you love, but as a reason to be intentional about who you're learning from, who you're spending time with, and what voices you're letting inside your life and in your head on a daily basis. Seek out people who are doing what you want to do, people who have already been where you're trying to go, people who make you feel behind in the best possible way. Not discouraged, but motivated. Your environment either pulls you forward or holds you back. Choose it intentionally. I want to bring this back to faith for a moment because I think Scripture has something powerful to say about this. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Be transformed. That's an active word. It requires something from you. It requires a decision, a daily, intentional, sometimes uncomfortable decision to think differently, to act differently, to become something different than what you currently are. The pattern of this world is comfort, convenience, the path of least resistance, staying where it is safe and familiar and easy. Transformation runs opposite direction. It always has. God doesn't call us to comfort. He calls us to growth, to purpose, to the uncomfortable, faith-requiring, doubt-defying life, actually becoming who He made us to be. And that life, that transformed, purposeful, fully alive life, is available to you right now. Not when you feel ready, not when the timing is perfect, right now. But you have to choose it every single day. So how do you actually be different? How do you become the person who changes instead of the person who almost does? Number 1, make a definitive decision. Not a maybe, not a someday, a decision. Write it down, put a date on it. Name exactly what you're going to do and when you're going to start. Indefiniteness is where dreams die. Specificity is where they begin. Number 2, start before you're ready. Whatever it is you've been waiting to feel ready for, start today. Imperfect action beats perfect inaction every single time. You will figure it out along the way. Everyone does. Number 3, choose discomfort on purpose. This week, do one thing that makes you uncomfortable in the direction of your goal. One uncomfortable conversation, one application you've been putting off, one first step you keep delaying. Do it this week. Number 4, audit your environment. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they pulling you forward or holding you back? You don't have to cut anyone off. Just be intentional about whose voices get the most access to your mind. Here's your action step. Write down one thing you've been almost doing for too long. The idea that keeps coming back, the goal that won't leave you alone. Write it down. One action you can take toward it today, not tomorrow, today. Most people never change. And I say that not as a judgment, but as a warning. Because most people don't decide to stay stuck. They just never make a strong enough decision to get unstuck. Don't be most people. You watched this video for a reason. Something in you is looking for permission or a push or just someone to tell you that it's possible. So let me tell you, it is possible. I've lived it, and the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is a decision and the willingness to be uncomfortable for long enough to get there. Make the decision. Start today and don't stop. If this video hit you where you needed it, hit subscribe and drop a comment below. Tell me one thing you've been almost doing that you're committing to start. I read every single comment, and I want to see you follow through. Coming up next on The Grounded Life, what treating trauma patients taught me about gratitude and why the thing you're complaining about might be someone else's answered prayers. You don't want to miss it. Thank you for being here. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next.